Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Global Issues Sports Network. My name is Manny Dominguez.
And I'm Colin Ogilvy.
This is the game we've all been talking about all offseason, as the defending champs and the current number one pick, the United States, squares off against a combination of up-and-coming global superpowers.
In the batting leadoff spot, we have Nigeria. Nigeria is fresh from the minor leagues and is anxious to prove itself against the heavy hitters. The rest of the lineup is as follows: China, India, and Russia.
For the United States, it will have to determine how to match up against each of these main hitters in order to maintain its streak and its current superstar status.
Alright, stepping up to bat first is Nigeria. Nigeria is fast and a good hitter from what we've seen in the minor leagues, so this should be an interesting matchup. Unfortunately, there has been rumor of Nigeria trying to bend the rules to give itself a competitive edge with its government corruption. Nigeria is young enough to not be too much of a threat to the United States. The United States should be careful to not let them on base. Their over-reliance on their speed due to their oil industry might make them a little too anxious to swing hard and could be an easy strikeout for the veteran U.S. pitcher. With a population of 190.9 million, they come in today with a .278 batting average from the minor leagues.
Coming up to bat next is China, with taking that environmental initiative, owner of the U.S. debt, quickly militarizing, technologically advanced with cheap labor rates and a strong central government. Very organized with their future strategies and have recently launched the 4 modernizations, which is a plan to focus on industry, agriculture, the advancement of science and technology, and defense. They also are great at protecting their own natural interest. One thing that's interesting about them, though, is that their interest in international affairs is minimal compared to their regional affairs, which could be also a strength or viewed as a weakness depending on neighboring states. Their willingness to blur war and peace times is something also to look out, and their lack of original innovation, as well as their excessive carbon emissions, is something that neighboring states have found concerning, especially with their environmental degradation. Their batting average currently, though, is at 1.386 billion, so it'll be something very to look out to on the field. What should the U.S. do with a foe like China? Well, I think they're one of the biggest heavy hitters out today, so the United States should really focus on a curveball. And what I mean by that is that China is well on track to surpass the U.S. in the overall GDP. To continue their power, China is encouraged to identify the major business trends, urban society, and their positions relating to the rest of the world. All of these are very possible, but the United States could also benefit from a mutual agreement with China, but that might be very strategic because China can truly surpass the U.S.
Coming up to bat third for the future global superpowers team is India. India is by far the most dynamic and exciting player on this team, as they have the 6th largest economy by GDP, the 3rd largest economy according to purchasing power, and the fastest growing economy in their region. Their middle class is rapidly expanding, and their young working age class is also rapidly growing with rising education and engineering skills. India is on its way to being a great military power as well, with their developing space program and their growing military. Fortunately, India has had some challenges with infrastructure, with education, and with their public health. These factors could and probably will limit India's world success, but it's more than possible for India to fix and strengthen these sectors. Unfortunately, they also have growing economic inequality to balance. With a population of 1.339 billion, India brings a lot to the plate. Now, is India a threat to the U.S.? India is a rising power, sure, and they have a lot of influence in the region, but I would say no. I think it'd be more beneficial for the U.S. to try and just pitch it straight to them with a fastball and just see how India handles it, and the U.S. should really treat India with respect and negotiate as much as possible due to India's rising popularity in the region.
Now, a good baseball game won't be finished out without a good old-fashioned rivalry. Coming up at the end of the count, we'll have Russia, who is striving to lower poverty rates and is succeeding, surprisingly. They have motivation to expand their influence as well, with their economy projected to grow after a deep contraction in 2015 through 2016. Oil prices are increasing and promoting much growth for the country, while Putin has a strategy to take back its power by driving wedges between opponents and propaganda. While Russia, though, might have an oscillating GDP, that can be interpreted as being very highly unstable. Each government in the past has pushed their own objectives, promoting uncertainty, and Russia recently has had a negative population growth, which has decreased much of its productivity. Russia's reputation and hostility holds them back, especially after being such a dominating power during the Cold War. With a population of 114.5 million, it's clear that Russia might be the heaviest hitter up to bat today, which would also beg the question, is Russia a threat to the US? Well, recently and in previous games, Russia has proposed many new threats against the United States, including missiles and even new weapons. Russia's hostility and threats should not be taken lightly. And regarding to power, the US should not be too worried due to Russia's unstable government over the past decades. However, with today's matchup, the United States should be on their P's and Q's and worry about the militaristic threat that Russia is persisting.